Don Hertzfeld's It's Such a Beautiful Day is an absolute masterpiece, and without question, one of my favorite films of all time. Few films have hit me as hard or lingered in my thoughts as long as this deceptively simple, deeply existential animation. It is thought-provoking, melancholic, bittersweet, nostalgic, and utterly soul-crushing. A perfect collision of emotions that somehow feel both personal and universal. Hertzfeldt takes the most basic of tools, stick figure animation and existential storytelling, and creates a film where, against all odds, I found myself relating to a stick figure named Bill. It's an experience that sneaks up on you. You don't expect to be emotionally devastated by something so visually simple, but that simplicity is part of what makes the film so profound. The animation style in It's Such a Beautiful Day is compelling in ways that are easy to overlook. Stick figures are usually the domain of idle doodles and grade school sketches, symbols of simplicity and innocence. Hertzfeldt leans into that association, using it to disarm the viewer. The hand-drawn pencil and paper technique gives the film an intimate, tactile quality. The lines are jittery, imperfect, almost trembling like memories themselves. There's a rawness in its imperfection that feels incredibly human. It isn't glossy or polished, and that's exactly why it works. The animation looks like something that a child might have drawn, which makes the film's darker themes hit even harder. There's an eerie contrast between the simplicity of the visuals and the complexity of the emotions they convey. It's as if the medium is participating in the film's exploration of memory, nostalgia, and the fragility of existence. But beneath the jittery lines and stick figure simplicity is a plot that is deeply dire and undeniably depressing.
"I'm sorry, I just don't know what to make of it," his doctor said. "Maybe Bill's body is simply rallying before finally giving up."
Bill's journey is one of mental and physical decay, a slow unraveling of reality that feels both personal and cosmic. Watching it, it's not hard to feel like Hertzfeldt himself wrestled with an existential crisis during the film's creation. The story feels raw, like a direct transmission of intrusive thoughts and fears onto the screen.
When Grandma would visit and he'd show her his drawings, she'd often imagine how easily she could toss little Bill into the fireplace.
It asks heavy questions about identity, consciousness, and morality, and it refuses to offer easy answers.
They said she had a tumor and was suffering from seizures and dementia. Bill didn't know what those words meant.
Thankfully, this isn't a film that coddles its audience. Instead, it stares straight into the abyss and invites you to do the same. Yet, there's a strange comfort in that confrontation. Hertzfeldt finds beauty in the bleakness, humor in the horror, and meaning in the chaos. The core philosophy of It's Such a Beautiful Day is quietly devastating. Life is beautiful precisely because it is fragile. Every day is its own fleeting, unique experience, shaped by individual moments and circumstances that will never occur in quite the same way again. And it is only in the shadow of death that life's beauty becomes truly visible. For Bill, this realization is slow and painful. He is born into a family seemingly cursed by grief and mental illness, an ancestral line marred by early deaths, mysterious diseases, and implied suicides. There is a generational weight pressing down on him, an inescapable sense that life will end badly for him, as it always has for his relatives. It's a legacy of suffering that seems predetermined, as if Bill is simply waiting his turn to die.
Bill, can you hear me, Bill?
Look at me, Bill. Look at me.
140/90.
Bill, can you hear me?
Bill?
Bill, can you hear me?
Later in the film, when Bill himself is diagnosed with a brain tumor, that legacy becomes personal. The tumor leads to hallucinations, disorientation, memory loss, and a creeping sense of hopelessness. The world blurs, fractures, and rearranges itself in ways that Bill cannot fully comprehend. Like most of us, Bill fears death. Not just the act of dying, but the slow erosion of self that precedes it. And, as it often does, that fear keeps him from living. He becomes trapped in cycles of anxiety, disconnected from the present, as though trying to outthink or outrun the inevitable. Yet, paradoxically, it's this confrontation with death that forces him to finally recognize the beauty in life. The closer Bill drifts towards the end, the more he notices the small, quiet wonders that he once overlooked. This shift in perspective is most powerfully conveyed during Bill's physical decline. After suffering a stroke, his health deteriorates rapidly. His memories slip through his fingers, one by one, dissolving into a haze of forgotten details and disjointed sensations. It's a slow and painful process, yet even in this state, there are moments of clarity, moments where beauty pierces through. In one of the film's most affecting scenes, Bill looks up at the sky and remarks how beautiful it is. There's a sense of childlike awe in his voice, a simplicity that feels almost sacred. He wonders aloud why no one else seems to notice this beauty, why people rush past it, blind to the world above them.
It's such a beautiful day.
It's a small moment, but it encapsulates the entire thesis of the film. Life is precious not because it lasts, but because it doesn't. By the end, It's Such a Beautiful Day becomes a meditation on acceptance. It doesn't offer easy answers or comforting platitudes. Instead, it suggests that perhaps the only way to truly live is to embrace life's impermanence. To stand beneath the sky and feel, even for a fleeting second, how overwhelming and beautiful it all is. Even as Bill fades away, he finds meaning, not in grand sweeping gestures, but in the quiet recognition that being alive, for however long, is enough.
Wait a minute. He's not gonna die.
He's not gonna die.
But he
here.
doesn't die.
No.
Bill, Bill, get up.
At the very end of the film, the narrator, played by Hertzfeldt, breaks character and admits that he doesn't want Bill to die. It's a very heartbreaking sequence, as the narrator has been speaking in a monotone manner throughout the entire film. It's as if he speaks for the audience in this instance. We don't want Bill to die, and neither does the narrator. The shift in character really sells the tragedy of Bill's demise. It is almost as if now the narrator himself fears death and is refusing to accept death, just as Bill had at the start of the film. From there, a montage of Bill's life is shown as if he were never to die. Bill is shown outliving all of humanity and even the universe, leaving him bored and stagnant as he is left to float amongst the stars for eternity. It's a very bittersweet and melancholic ending to the film. However, it is not out of place, and it works with the rest of the tone. The ending really hammers in the message of the entire story. An immortal life does not grant one happiness. Instead, happiness is found in the little things in life, like getting a note from your mother saying, "I'm so proud of you," or eating ice cream bars with a friend. It's one of the saddest films I've ever seen, yet it filled me with a sense of hope. The work of Hertzfeldt is material that will shatter you to pieces and then glue those pieces back together. Brief parables told throughout the film are surreal, dark, and yet beautiful. A flashback in the film tells the story of Bill's younger disabled brother, who ran into the sea one day in pursuit of the sun and disappeared, never to be seen again. Another flashback tells the story of one of Bill's ancestors, who was abandoned in the woods. Hertzfeldt narrates, "He died alone in a field one summer morning while dreaming of the moon. 6 weeks later, a sunflower grew out of his head." The stories are darkly beautiful and peaceful, and the music that accompanies the visuals also greatly improves the mood of the film. Classical pieces of music from composers such as Richard Wagner, Richard Strauss, and Robert Schumann are present throughout the film. It, along with the hand-drawn stick figure animation, gives the movie a feeling of timelessness. That feeling resonates and fits well with the tone and message of the film. The feelings of eternity and immortality can be felt and heard, as these composers have been dead for many years. Yet, we still talk about them. They live on after death through their life's work. It's Such a Beautiful Day is not just a great film, it's a masterpiece. One of those rare works that feels like it's speaking directly to some quiet hidden part of you. It's thought-provoking, melancholic, bittersweet, nostalgic, and utterly soul-crushing. It's a staggering achievement in animation and storytelling, one that doesn't just tell a story, but burrows into the fabric of what it means to be alive.
He lives and he lives until all of the lights go out.
And with all that out of the way, I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media. Really quick, I just wanted to say thank you so much to all the channel members that support this channel. Their names are right here. Thank you sincerely. It means the most. And if you want to become a channel member, it's only $1.99 a month. You could have seen this video and a lot of my future videos way before they are released to the public. Like, it is seriously, I think at least, a really solid perk. You're not just supporting me, you're supporting the channel and videos just like these. So thank you sincerely to those that are members, and if you're not, either way, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.